Kayleigh McEnany was not going to let the fake news paint Trump as racist.
Memorials, names, and the president has repeatedly inserted himself into this debate. And I think a lot of people are trying to understand what his view of memorializing the Confederacy is and the proper place of the Confederate flag. So a couple questions. One, does President Trump believe that it was a good thing that the South lost the Civil War? And then two, is he interested in following NASCAR's example and banning the Confederate flag at his own events?
Well, your first question is absolutely absurd. He's proud of the United States of America. Second, with regard to our statues, Americans oppose tearing down our statues. There's a Harvard-Harris poll released just last week that shows 60% of respondents said the statues should remain, and 71% said local governments should block groups from physically destroying the statues. So he stands on the side of preserving our history.
The question is actually about the Confederate flag at his rallies. Is he interested in banning the Confederate flag at his rallies?
That would be a question for his campaign, but look, this president's focused on taking action, on fixing problems. It's why he had his executive order just a few weeks ago to keep our streets safe and secure. That's where his focus lies, and I think that those who are tearing down statues, they do appear to have no ideology when they're tearing down statues and defacing statues of Matthias Baldwin, an abolitionist, Hans Christian Heg, who died fighting for the Union Army during the Civil War. A memorial for African American soldiers who fought in the Civil War was damaged in Boston, and a monument to fallen police officers was vandalized in Sacramento. This is unacceptable. It's why the president took strong action. It's why he has an executive order saying those tearing down statues will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. It's why 4 people will charge. He will not stand for lawlessness and chaos. He stands with the 71% of Americans who say there is no place for tearing down statues, as these anarchists are doing across the nation.
Christian. It's okay to display the Confederate flag at his events?
Christian.
Yeah, thanks, Kayleigh. I got a couple. First off,
now look, this is a throwback to a couple of years ago, obviously, when the mainstream media did every single thing that they could when Trump was in office to paint him as, you know, some sort of hardcore racist and to paint all of his supporters as racist. Now, I will be honest to say that we definitely know that there are some extremist factions on both sides of the aisle here in America. But when you saw the way the mainstream media sort of wrapped this around and tried to talk about Confederate flags and tried to talk about, you know, the statues and tried to ask as if, you know, Donald Trump, is he mad that the South lost the Civil War? That is actual absurdity. And that is why nobody trusts anything that comes out of those mainstream media platforms at this point. Now, Kayleigh McEnany was about as good as it gets. It is unfortunate that she's not there again. It's unfortunate, you know, that Trump, you know, had kind of turned on her last year when he was running to get the nomination. But I will always maintain that there was no more effective a surrogate for Trump and his policies than Kayleigh McEnany. I'm sorry to not see her there. But when you look at this video, it is a shining example of just how good she was at her job.